Hi guys, this is Miranda, and if you can tell from my title, I have been accepted for a Disney professional internship for the Conservation Education Presenter role. I'm super excited, and I thought maybe, heck, I'll just put a video together and maybe give some tips on applying for a professional internship through Disney, or just kind of things that I did that helped me get accepted into this program. So I have improved my video vlogging stuff, I guess. Last time I was in my PJs and I was vlogging on my crappy camera, or my web camera. So now I have upgraded. So now I'm talking to my camera, and you guys should check out my stand. This is my official camera stand. I have Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and my veterinary manual. And I put little sticky notes so I know where to put my camera, because I don't have a front-facing camera thing. Okay, so, alright, now we're ready. So, a little bit of background about me is I am a Disney College Program alumni. I did my program back in 2014. It was for Fall Advantage, and I was quick service food and beverage. And I worked in Magic Kingdom, primarily in Adventureland, swirling and selling Dole Whips. So that was my role. So I always knew that I wanted to go back to the Disney company. So I started applying for professional internships earlier this year. So I also applied for to do another college program, and I actually got accepted for that. But I eventually turned it down because I got accepted for a professional internship. So let me just give you like a timeline to see where we're working at. So I applied February 6th, so just the general application, which you apply online. And then I uploaded my resume and my cover letter. And then from then I waited until February 22nd to get my phone screen. Then after my phone screen, I got my Bluejeans interview on March 14th. And then I got my verbal acceptance on March 27th. And then I got my official email offer March 30th. So it was kind of a long process, or it sure felt long. But I've heard of people waiting longer to get their acceptances, so it just depends. And disclaimer is I am going to talk about primarily my role as an education presenter, but I know each role varies a little bit throughout their application process. So my professional internship will probably be a little bit different from like a media internship or like I don't know, like hospitality internship. Mine is specifically an animal program. So, but there still is some like correlation between these roles, and some of the application processes are going to be the same, and these tips can apply to those roles as well. So stay tuned, I guess. So let's first go over the initial application phase. So what I did was go on disneycareers.com, and that will give you a list of all their jobs that they offer. And then it was on the right hand side is a filter, and I filtered through and I selected professional internship. And what popped up was all the professional internships that were available at that time. Different roles pop up at different times of the year. Usually it's bi-yearly, so they'll come up twice per each application season. So my application season is for fall, but basically it's summer and fall because I start in June. So just keep that in mind. So they have like fall roles that are open, and they have spring roles. Spring rolls, that sounds yummy. Spring rolls that come out too. So yeah, so when I applied, I had all the animal programs have come out. So those were basically the only professional internships that I was interested in. I did apply for a couple of management internships, but they were for like food and beverage and park operations, which I don't have a lot of experience at. And so I was mainly focused on my animal program and professional internships. So I applied for 3 internships in total. Wait, no. 3 management internships in total and 2 professional internships in total. and I only really progressed far into the application process for the one that I got for Conservation Education Presenter, which is fine. I knew I wasn't very qualified for the management internships. Okay, so let's start on the application. So first thing you'll do is you'll fill out an online application, it's pretty easy and just basically asks you questions about your experiences, and then you can actually take those experiences from your resume and then directly apply them onto your application. And then you will have a section at the very end to upload a resume and then upload a cover letter. Okay, so let's talk about beefing up your resume and writing your cover letter. So what you should do is when you go on the Disney Careers website and then you see a role that you might be interested in applying for, go ahead and print out the entire role description. I have my Conservation Education Presenter role printed out right here. This way you have it even if the role closes for some reason, or it's good if you're just thinking about doing a professional internship in the future. It's good to just go on the website, print out the role description, and then use that as a reference to see what you can do to better qualify yourself for the role. For example, I wish I had discovered the vet hospital internship earlier, because it required me to have 6 months of wildlife handling experience, which I wouldn't have been able to get in time for this application period. So if you're interested in a role, go ahead and print out the description and start working towards getting qualified for that role. So what I did right after I printed out the role description is I went through and I highlighted, can't tell I highlighted, all the main points of qualifications and any kind of like adjectives or big adverbs or something like that, something that pops out. For example, like the word empower, connect, like connect animals and conservation, personal passion for wildlife conservation, demonstrated strong conversations, oh my god, strong, I'm failing at this qualification right now, demonstrated strong conservation and environmental knowledge. So just go through and like highlight what they want. And then these are like responsibilities that you can look through, basic qualifications, preferred qualifications, and like required education and such like that. So it's good to go through, highlight the main points and highlight what they're looking for in a person. And then from there, you can start like beefing up your resume and putting like, for this role, I made sure to put in my experience working with children and families because that's what they want. And I made sure to put in my personal passion for wildlife conservation because that's what this role entails. So just kind of go through the role list and correlate what you want in your resume with the role. Also, another thing that I found really helpful when I was building my resume was to go to the career center at my campus and talk to a career advisor. And he really helped me because he went through my resume and told me what I should include or what I should maybe like not talk about so much per se in my resume. So that really helped a lot. And then even just him going over my resume built my confidence too, because I knew I had a strong resume, or I had a stronger resume after seeing him. So that really helped. And another thing is people are worried about if their resume is too long. Usually the general rule is to have your resume be 1 page, but my resume was actually 2 pages. So as long as what you have in your resume directly correlates to the role you're applying for, it's fine to have more than 1 page. So I made sure to put in my study abroad experience, as well as all my animal experience, all my leadership experience, as well as my Disney College Program experience. If you're a former cast member, definitely put that in your resume, because I feel like they really like returnees from the college program or just former cast member in general. And if you don't have access to a career center, even just having like a roommate or a family member go through your resume, it's always good to have a second pair of eyes look over it, because if you're like me, I was reading my resume over and over again and I wasn't catching stuff that was repetitive or any spelling mistakes just because I was reading it over and over so much. So that's helpful too. So some of these roles, they don't require a cover letter, but if you really want the role, I highly suggest writing a cover letter. It definitely can do nothing but really help you if you have a good cover letter. So what I did is, like, going back to the role description and going back to highlighting the main things that they want, I made sure to go through and highlight stuff on my cover letter that directly correlates to the role description. So writing a cover letter also gives you a chance to write what's not on your resume and to really tie in why you want to do this internship and what would make you a good person for this internship. And I think a cover letter really sets you apart from other applicants that are not writing a cover letter. So the vet hospital internship and the role that I got were the only two that I did a cover letter for. So I think it really works. And also, who you title the cover letter for is, I put Dear Disney Recruiter, so that helps because you don't really know who all is looking at your cover letter. So it's good to have a general Dear Disney Recruiter instead of like a narrowed down person, because you don't know who all is going to be reading your cover letter. Also, another tip is to sign your name. So instead of just printing out like sincerely your name, go ahead and like scan your signature, put it on your cover letter, and then that really sets you apart too, because they see that you took the time to actually write out your signature and apply it to your cover letter. Okay, so you've got your role description, you've got your resume all set up, and you got your cover letter. And then that would conclude your application stage of the whole process. So you apply, upload your resume, upload your cover letter, and then you wait. So you get to play the waiting game. So I only had to wait like less than 20 days to get an email to schedule a phone screen. So they give you a certain amount of time frames, and you actually get to choose which time frame works for you to do the phone screen. And so I scheduled my phone screen for February 22nd for like 7 o'clock in the morning. So I made sure to have coffee and to make sure that I was really energetic at that time, because I really wanted that to translate into my interview. So if you've seen anything about the Disney College Program phone interview, it was the phone screen for the professional internship is very similar. So basically they call you and you're talking to a recruiter on the phone, and they ask you some general questions, sometimes about the Disney look. They give you some scenario questions, and then they just dig deeper into your qualifications and your past experiences. Mine was very easy. It was only 13 minutes long, and everything I was prepared for to answer. And then you can also like go on certain blogs or forums to find like what people have been asked before, and then that will help you be prepared for the questions that they asked. So any tips for that is, during your phone screen, just make sure to smile when you're talking, because that really translates over, and just be really upbeat. And if you need to like think about a question, go ahead and think about it and then answer. You don't want to just pull something right off the top of your head and then blurt it out and then it not being what you wanted to say. So it's okay to just pause, think about your answer, and then go for it. So I think it wasn't too hard. It was one of the easier steps in the application process, just maybe because I have done the college program before and it was so similar to the phone interview. So that's really all I have to say. That's all I got to say about that. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. So after the phone screen, you will see that you're still under review. And if you've been under review since after you've applied, that's a good thing. What you don't want to see is no longer in consideration. That means that you are denied and your application has been denied. So if you see under review along the whole entire application process, it's usually a good sign. That means they're still looking at your application. That means they could be still considering you to move farther along into the process. So after my phone screen, I was still under review. A little more than a month later, I got my invitation to do a Bluejeans interview. And what Bluejeans is basically, it's Skype. It's basically Skype where you have like a conversation with someone on the other side of a computer. I used my webcam to do the web interview. So you will get an email inviting you to do a Bluejeans interview at a set time, and then they will give you the link to Bluejeans, and then you just go ahead and download Bluejeans before your interview, and then on the day of your interview you can actually just click that link that they sent you in the email and you're all set up to do the interview. So the interview is like over the web interview, so you are looking at someone that's in a laptop basically, and they're looking at you. So I have heard that people have had like panel interviews, so an interview with multiple people on a screen, but in my case I only had one, and what you want to make sure to do is dress professionally. Make sure I had a blazer, I had a nice shirt on, and make sure you wear like dress pants or just a dress, like a professional dress, because it would suck if you had to like get up for some reason and you had fuzzy pink PJ bottoms on and your professional top. So make sure to like dress professional from head to toe, and that really sets you into the interview mode as well. So that's helpful because it doesn't really seem like you're in an interview when you're talking to your webcam on your laptop, at least for me. And what I did is I actually did my interview in my roommate's room. She has a nice big office, like black chair, and she has nothing in her background, and I thought that was better than this kind of background. So I did that, and I made sure to dress professionally. And then with that, it's also to smile and to look them in the eye while you're talking. My recruiter, she's actually like, when you do the Bluejeans interview, it's actually a manager usually from your for your role. So my recruiter was actually a manager for the Disney Conservation Education role. So that's unique in itself too. But the whole time she was asking me questions and like talking to me, most of the time she was looking down and writing notes on her like paper, like about our interview and everything, which is fine. But just make sure that you are still keeping eye contact even if they're looking down, and then still like interacting with them. So that was the only thing that was surprising, and again is try to prepare yourself for the questions, and you can find these questions, usually they are listed from people who have already done it, and then just kind of try to find those sources, and it varies from each role as well that you're applying for. But yeah, and then don't worry, like I was so nervous before my interview, and then at the end of my interview I was kicking myself. It's like, why was I so nervous? Your managers, the people that interview you, are so nice and they make you feel so comfortable. Like, I know it's hard to say, no, don't worry, don't be nervous or whatever, but it's such a great experience, and they really make it comfortable for you. And even if you're stuck on a question, they're fine. You can just, again, stop, pause, think, and then answer it. And then they were just really supportive, so I wouldn't worry too much about being intimidated by them at all. That was my case. So let's see, what else? I only had to wait like 10 days, and then I got an email saying that they wanted to call me and talk to me and verify some things. And so I got the call, and basically they just went over like, do I have a car? Will I have housing? Do I know the Disney look? Can I follow the Disney look? And then they offer you the role. It was really cool and so excited. So, and then you say yes, or you say no, I don't. Yeah, so I was like, yes, and then, yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. And then a few days later they give you an email, and then from that email you can officially select your offer, and then you get the paperwork started. So that's basically a general overview of the whole entire application process. I know I missed stuff, and I know I didn't explain some things really well, so go ahead and comment down below if you want me to clarify something. or if you just have like a general question, I can probably help with that. I'm still a little shocked that I got this internship, but I'm gonna roll with it. So, and I hope to do more vlogs once I get down in Florida, or even before, because I am now searching for apartments and looking for new roommates and trying to figure out whether I should drive or ship my car to Florida. So I've got some things to think about too. So just let me know if this is if this interests anybody, and then I can keep making these videos because it's kind of fun, and I think I'm getting a little bit better. We'll see. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you later.